program, everyone. This is the morning brief. The dailies gets our attention next. Dr. Mazi Ambrose Igboke joins us live from the coast city, Enugu. He's the chairman, Guild of Public Affairs Analysts, Enugu State Chapter. Mazi, you have your hats on this morning. Good to see you.
Today I'm not representing Mazi, I'm representing Olorugun, the army of the Niger Delta.
Oh, okay.
I'm a proper worry boy, so I want to represent.
I hope this does not have anything to do with the 50% derivation that we're fighting for.
Well, as a proper worry boy, we are fighting for it too.
All right. Well, let's get to take a look at the papers this morning. Perhaps we can just begin with the Vanguard, which leads with our major writer this morning. Allocations can't guarantee prosperity for states. Allocations can't guarantee prosperity for states. That's coming from the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Tawo Yedele, says government saved 15.8 trillion naira from subsidy removal. Notes wage bill exceeded subsidy savings. Wage bill exceeded subsidy savings, accounts for 30 trillion naira subsidy windfall now. Atiku challenges Tinubu. Well, I wonder what to make of these headlines, because yes, we have the scorecard, but then there are questions.
Well, true wealth does not is not measured with the currency you have. What is measured is the value of your currency. And I must maintain, as I've always done, that I disagree with the minister. The scorecard is just based on statistics. I overheard him yesterday live saying that economics does not work by, what you buy, the price of things you bought in 2023, or what you are buying things now. Honorable Minister, I don't agree. Economics metrics must be based on an economic reality, not on textbook Brentwood institution parameters. Because even those Brentwood parameters are not used in their own place. In Europe, where IMF and America, where IMF and World Bank, hold sway, they subsidize their people. They subsidize. They have a social protection schemes for their people. They subsidize the farmers. They subsidize the manufacturers so that they can be globally competitive. Same thing happens in China. In fact, there's a trade war between China and the US on who subsidizes more and who is going against the World Trade Organization, directive. This is where serious countries do. You remove your subsidy, you quote trillions. What is exactly the value of 10 trillion naira compared to maybe 100 billion naira 4 years ago? Those are the things we have to interrogate and question. So it is good to reel out figures, because so that the country will say you are doing well, quoting the trillions. But what is the value of 10 trillion naira? The value of 10 trillion naira is not much. So we will continue to borrow because our money doesn't have value when it is compared with the international currencies like the dollar, the pound, and euro, and other currencies. So and then it doesn't translate to address the hyperinflation we are having. We keep on saying that inflation is pegged at 33%, 30-something percent. Meanwhile, prices of goods are 300% inflationary rates. So these things don't add up. And when we keep on saying, oh, my economists will come and tell us, oh, you don't look at things that way. You talk of micro and macro. If macro and microeconomics do not move in tandem, then there's a problem with that economic parameter. So while they celebrate trillions, there was a video I watched of the NGX MD one time with the president, and they are talking about how many trillionaires have been made. And I was arguing that when you compare this, the so-called people who have made millionaires, and you compare to what they were before May 29, 2023, you find out that the value of money, okay, bank rate as of 2019 of exchange rates was one naira to $360. Now it's 1,400, 1,300 and something dollars, naira to a dollar, and you say you are rich. So this things don't add up. It doesn't have any economic impact in the lives of Nigeria. It has not assuaged our inflation, unemployment, and the rest. Nigeria is still the poverty capital of the world. So all these things are for academic exercise. It doesn't impact on Nigerians positively.
Well, that also means that the minister's explanation that some of these savings and increased earnings have gone to payment of salaries, backlog of pensions, agricultural development, it means it's not satisfactory to you. But that's significant to note, Dr. Buke. Let's look at The Guardian, which stays on this issue now. The Guardian reports it in another way, but perhaps telling the same story. State spending faces scrutiny over 15.8 trillion naira windfall citizens' welfare. And we see a breakdown there provided by The Guardian, trailing on the Minister's presentation of the scorecard. We see 10.48 trillion naira shared with states, local government in the period under review, and there's a graphical illustration there showing increase in revenues from 2023 up until 2025. And Jeffrey did say we should be asking the states more questions, especially since increased allocation. I'd like you to speak to that, Dr. Buke.
Yeah, like when you mentioned pension, for example, a man who was owed, for example, 360,000 naira pension in let's say in 2022, when dollar was I think 511 naira to dollar. Now the man will be as rich as maybe $700 or so, or $800. But now that same man, if you pay him that amount of money, the money has lost value. The money has lost a serious value. You cannot even have up to you'll be having like less than $300. So that is how you compare these things. But when you conveniently leave out these anomalies and just keep on celebrating how much trillion nairas without saying what is the commensurate value of that trillion naira. When we buy a loaf of bread when you are buying a loaf of bread for 500 naira or 300 naira, and you are having real value, and now you said, oh, you have given me 2,000 naira, you cannot buy me that same loaf of bread that is buying 300 naira. And some people say, oh, economics is not calculated like that, and I'm spending money. What is it? It's not economics. So for all this, they say, okay, state governors when they took over, like Enugu state governor when he took over was projecting a GDP before he leaves of $30 billion when he was, when he was doing his campaign. Now you are finding out that he's earning more money through the federal allocation or whatever, but at the same time you find out that his projection are shortfall, because when he made those projections, naira was doing a lot more, but now naira has lost its value maybe around 200 or 300 times lower. So how do you want, because most of the things the governors work with are imported. So when you measure all this big money that the government, both at the subnational level and at the national level, that there's more money, the question is, what is the value? Somebody was importing products and the price has remained $10. One of these, communication deliverables. The price has remained $10 for the past 10 years, but he had to cough out more money. There was a time the $10 was just 1,500 naira. He was coughing it out. Now the $10 is 14,000 naira from 1,500. Now you give him more money, you say he's making more money. He's buying something at 14,000 and let's say his money is not 10,000, and the clients are he has to fold that business. These are the things we are talking about. So it's not about the incremental, issue about the money, that the volume of money. It's not the volume of money we are talking about here, because that is also what the government keeps harping about. The volume. What is the value? It doesn't tally. So sometimes you don't say this government, although that does not exonerate the governors, where some of them are just governors that don't even have any clear vision. Some of them don't even have economic blueprint of what they are doing. Some of them don't even have plans. They're just floats, float some and jet some of the society. They just drive on convoys, pay salaries for those who pay. Some of them are even refuse to implement the minimum wage. So, but again, the question is that the citizens are docile. If your governor is going to improve this minimum wage, that is a constitutional right, what have you done as a citizen? You sit down there, he passes on signing, you line up and hail him, and that is why where we are, because we are a docile citizenry. We don't even react in these things. We type on WhatsApp pages, we complain behind closed doors, and when we see these people, we start hailing them that are the best thing that have happened after the coming of Jesus Christ. So this is not how a society functions. I will keep on being demeaned because we are not even standing up for our rights.
Mr. Goke, so I know whenever we have you, always that disconnect between the macro and the micro. The numbers are saying what they are. Is for them to connect those numbers. But let's go to the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu approves EFCC recovered loot on claimed dividend for students' loan as FEC approves 170 billion for National Library, 15.8 trillion fuel subsidies savings shared among. Okay, we've talked about this, but I want you to speak to that particular headline as well on Nigerian Tribune. And above the nameplate, you can also see military retirees protest in Abuja.
I saw that video of the military retirees protests, and I was my heart was broken, especially for one particular military veteran who was saying that he fought in Sierra Leone and Liberia, and that that if the young officer wants to kill him, let him kill him. Let him that is a good day to die. That broke my heart. I looked at the age of those people. And I looked at the age of the officer, of the active officer who was trying to stop them, although he was civil, but they were telling him that we are fighting for you. Tomorrow you become retired. You don't even need to get old before you retire. I think they still have these 10 years when you do 10 years you can retire. And if our veterans are being treated with such dehumanizing pattern, then that perhaps explains why sometimes you see what happens with our military, paramilitary agencies or security agencies, because they are human beings, and if they see people who are retired behave this way, how do you expect them to be dedicated? How do you expect them to be patriotic when Nigeria is not patriotic to them? These things are two-way balance. When you're so old, what John F. Kennedy once said that think not what your country will do for you, but what you do for your country. It is because the country was doing things for its citizens. A country who does not do things for its citizens, how do you expect the citizens to reciprocate that gesture? And when you see these kind of things, it breaks your heart. Have you ever seen? Look at the way military veterans are treated in the United States and other countries. They are decorated. In fact, they are adored or even almost worshipped. They are them to be the first to board the train, board the plane. If they want to buy something, other people will give them space when you are serving the country and all those things. But here in Nigeria, we abuse them, we humiliate them. Sometimes when they die, their relative have to travel how many times for verification, all kinds of things, physical verification. Some of them die on the way. Those who are even in active service, some of them don't have where to stay. They are transferred from one place to another, no place. And the veterans are saying, just give them what is their due. They are not asking for anything extra, just what belongs to them.
All right.
And yet the state is not doing them well. This is not fair. And Nigerian state should begin to treat its veterans with dignity.
Yeah. Brilliant point, Dr. Boke. Let's see if we can just touch on maybe two more papers before we round off. Just let's see the New Telegraph. Gunmen attack Adeleke's convoy in Osogbo. Security operatives repel assailants. Governor receives certificate of return. Vows to heal, unite, build Osun. Unveils 500 million naira election victims fund. Dr. Boke?
I don't think we should be hearing this kind of news from Osun. I think Osun should concentrate on governance. Election is over. The battle has been fought and won. I even saw a news item where they said that the Senator Francis Fada that said that they should keep people. Was saying that he apologized. I didn't see him say that, but I heard the paper reports that. He's still working free. Somebody that said they should keep people was not arrested or touched. He has set a very bad precedent for others to follow. The election is over, but we are still hearing gunshots. We shouldn't be hearing those kind of things. We should be thinking of the second phase of Governor Adeleke. What is his plan for Osun people? What is he supposed to do? And then for the victim of for the endowment fund, well, the governor said it's not from Osun State Purse, that it is from his own family's foundation, the Adeleke Foundation, and they are going to go to the Adeleke Secondary School and as well as the university for scholarship. Well, what a price to pay. We don't need to pay the supreme price to have an election in Nigeria. Election should be just something that you can even do while you're at work. Even Ghana here and other countries, they have been able to, but this one, we shut down the airspace, we shut down the road, we impose curfew, we do all kinds of things. Yet on the day of election, people, before the election, people still lose their life. Election should not be this way. Election was a very bad example of how election should not be. But it's also a good example of how the people defy all odds and make sure that their votes count.
We have to leave it here, Dr. Igboke. If we go back to your analysis of the economy and scorecard, what we take away from me is that we should leave the volume, and check out the value. Thank you, indeed. Dr. Ambrose Igboke is the Chairman, Guild of Public Affairs Analyst in Enugu State. Thank you, indeed, for your analysis on the program.
Thank you for having me on the show, as always.